We are now live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to FBS Chat. I don't usually do this part. I don't usually open an FBS Chat. That's usually Joe's job, but he's in another meeting at the moment. So today I'm joined by the lovely, wonderful co-host Mark Maat, who we absolutely admire, and he was a guest not that long ago. And today we're going to be talking to Edwin Tan from Singapore. What time is it in Singapore, Edwin?
8 p.m. in the evening.
8 p.m. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time talking to us today. I was actually really looking forward to this conversation today because I think I've only seen you a couple of times through networking, and I think SF24, I think I kind of bumped into you.
Yes.
So this is a great time to be a bit curious as to who you are, what you do. And I know that Mark and I already decided that we don't like you because you were trained by a certain someone, but we will come to that in a minute. So Mark, I'll hand it over to you and I'll jump in as and when after I do this bit.
So, right, you're from Singapore, Edwin.
Yes.
Which makes me curious also. Never been there. And I understood from Isa that she also never has been there. Okay, so can you tell us a bit about Singapore? Because I think it's a very special place.
Sorry, can you say that again? I kind of missed that.
I'm thinking that Singapore is a very special place. It's like a city country, or how could you say this? Can you tell us a bit about Singapore? What it's like?
Oh, it's a nice city. Yeah, it's a nice country. Quite modern. City. Quite small actually. So born here. I was born here. Live here all my life. Yes. How would I describe it? It's changing all the time, I think. Yes. You have infrastructure, buildings popping up, I think, every few years. Yeah. So I think the landscape is constantly changing. Even where I'm living right now. I've been at this current place, for about 10 years now. And in the next couple of years, they're going to build under a tunnel kind of expressway, just next to where I'm living. So so I think that probably accurately describe what is happening in Singapore. Is ever changing. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like solution focused.
Yeah, if we see it that way, maybe. Yeah.
So you're a social worker?
Yes, I am trained as a social worker. I did my bachelor, and about 2 years ago, I also kind of went and did my master in social work. And I've been calling myself a social worker. Yeah, for the last about maybe 20 years.
You're still checking it out all these times. I also understand that you were trained in solution focus. Can you tell us a bit what you like about solution focus? What fascinates you about it?
Okay. I think what fascinates me about solution focused approach was that I think the first thing that really changed my mind is how I think how positive or strength based it can be. I remember when I first got in touch with Insoo Kim Berg more than 20 years ago. I remember sending her a tape of me. So at the point of time, it's still very kind of bad. You kind of record your session in still those videotape. I don't know whether you remember them. And then you have to send them off by post if you want to send it to and I remember doing one of that, sending a session. Of course, I get the client's permission and all these things, and then sending the tape off to Insoo. not expecting, what will happen. Yeah. And I remember getting back the tape. Few weeks later, 2 months back, it was unexpected. And when I saw the tape, and then I saw the feedback that came back along with the tape, it was then that I know that the solution focused approach is going to be something that I'm going to learn, and I'm going to continue to learn and see if I could master it, kind of. Yeah. So because it was a tape of me learning solution focus from the book, practicing it with the client, and then showing it to Insoo. So I was expecting a lot of negative feedback, like, you didn't do this well, you could have done it, you could have done this here, kind of feedback. But all I got was, how well you did this, and she was amazed that I did other things and things. So it was interesting experience for me. I never it was, I think, the first time that I got a positive feedback about a session that I did with a client. Yeah, and that really just blew my mind, and I was hooked to it ever since. Yeah. So yeah.
What made you send that tape to Insoo? Was it family-based services that you read?
No, I read what was the first book that I read, but it was Interviewing for Solution. Yeah. And behind, I think in the behind chapter, you have the protocol, and then you have the protocol, and so I was just really just trying to use the protocol and kind of structured the session that I have. And why I sent the tape, because I think from my own memory, we were trying to invite her to come to Singapore. Yes. So we were trying to impress her and say that we are quite sincere and we really want her to come, and train us. And so, see, we are doing this already. So please come.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then she came.
Yes, and she came. Yeah, and she came. She came in 1999. Did a 2 days workshop for us, and then subsequently she agreed to come back some more. And by then we have a class of about 30 social workers, counselors, psychologists, and we even have one psychiatrist, who attended the training, and it was a one year training by her and a few of her other colleagues from different parts of the world. So that's how I met. I met Michael Duran, Brian Kate, Therese Steiner from Switzerland, and so forth. Yeah.
But she didn't bring Steve.
Sorry. Well, the first time Steve came with her.
How was that?
How was that?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think Steve didn't really enjoy that. Didn't really enjoy that the visit. Maybe it's too far away. I'm not sure. Yeah, but Insoo is okay. Yeah, it's quite happy with the visit. I would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did your practice change after that training? Or did it?
I think it really kind of reinforced, because by the time they came, we were really, or I was really going into solution focus, really doing and trying, to use the skills and the knowledge and building on that. And at that point of time, there was a couple of other modality that I liked very much. and one of them was NLP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was learning a bit about NLP at that point of time, and so I told Insoo about that as well, because she was curious about it, and she asked me how I was doing that. So I was doing a bit of that, and the other one that I was also quite interested at the point of time was transactional analysis (TA). So that was the other modality that I was looking at as well. But after I start to learn about SF, solution focus, that was really the approach for me. And from there, I think what really changed is you start to read more. You read books by the other people. So I got to know about Milton Erickson. Yeah, I got to read about Bill O'Halloran stuff. Then you kind of get to know about Scott Miller work as well. So those were, and also those were some of the author or the leaders in the field that I kind of admire, and was reading a lot about them, and seeing how I could maybe try or integrate some of those techniques or knowledge that into my own practice in working with clients. And I think one of the best thing that has happened to me is really then letting go of that that I have to do something to fix the client. I think that for me is the biggest change. Because for the longest time I kind of felt that if I can't change or fix a client, I'm like a failure, and I have a lot of that self-doubt that am I capable, am I suitable to be a social worker, and that was really negative for me. I don't feel good about it. In fact, I kind of feel my self-esteem, my self-worth, how I view myself got a beating from that. Like, I don't think I'm good enough. And I think learnings about solution focus approach liberated me from that, really. And instead of trying to fix them, being the expert, I went alongside with them, and co-create, collaborate with them. So it becomes a partnership with the clients in building solutions, rather than trying to do something on them. Yeah. So I think that for me is the biggest shift. Yeah.
So how did it work when you shifted this mentality and approach for your clients, for the families you work with? How did it work out for them? Did they think, what's he doing? Or did they like it, or what?
Yes. I think for the few couple of sessions, or really for the beginning, at the beginning, the couple of clients that probably experienced this with me, they probably thought that this guy has gone crazy, maybe. And there was probably some difficulty in trying to understand and understanding what I was asking them also, because even though the question in solution focused approach, they're quite simple, but I don't think they are easy to answer. It really requires the clients to think hard for themselves. And so but because I was new, right, and I was just learning it, so I don't fear anything. I was just persistent in just asking it, and asking and just asking it and trying it, and if it doesn't work, for me it's like, oh, okay, so this didn't work, all right, ask something else, so I was just doing that. So I was just really practicing on that, and until it starts to start to work, and perhaps because I also gain more confidence in using it as well. I think that also helps me to continue to ask, and eventually, I think, I think I don't think it's an easy thing to do with client, or for clients to hear or to listen to the questions being asked. But I think it's helping them. I think for me, I think it's helping them to maybe be clearer about what are maybe the solutions, or the direction that they prepare or they're heading towards. So I think slowly and surely, I think clients, buy into that, and since then I've been I think almost all the session I ever have with clients would really just start in the form of what is the best type of question, so what would be helpful for you to be here today, kind of opening. That's really how I open how I open my sessions since then to now. Yeah.
I have another question about because you learned it from Insoo, and you mentioned some other international renowned trainers.
Yes.
But mostly these trainings are like in English. And in English language, it sounds like really easy, really familiar. But then how did you manage to translate it into your own language, the language of your clients?
Wow,
okay.
what a beautiful question, Mark. Oh, Joe's not coming back. You are now my full-time co-host. Yeah, you answer that, Edwin. Go on.
Yes. Yeah. I was lucky then. Because the agency that I was with then, quite a number of us bought into the approach, and they were really, really interested and keen, and so we were learning about this together. So out of the 30 of us in that group, quite a big number of them are my colleagues. People who we work together at the center, and some of them are quite good in translating and translating the questions from the English into Chinese, into Chinese, the phrasing and all these things. So I was lucky that then I was able to use some of those questions that they have translated, and kind of use it in the session myself. So I think I would say that maybe about 80% of the session conducted are still probably in English, and maybe about another 20% in my mother tongue, and in Mandarin or in other form of dialect. But I must confess that I'm not so proficient in some of this. But being able to ask maybe some of these questions, and I was still able to do that. And of course, then in I think in 2003 or something thereabout, or 2000, and I met Wei Su, from Taiwan. So we kind of met online, attending one of the online module with Insoo and Steve, and later on we started to connect, and we started to talk about the use of solution focused idea in Taiwan, and all these things, and so again I kind of learned how they are also translating some of this from English into Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, because I also asked a question because in my country, in the Netherlands, a lot of people speak English, but in normal day life, we speak Dutch, of course. And it's not always easy for me anyway to get this, because if I'm trying to, the first question, what are your best hopes? I'm trying to translate it into Dutch. Most of the time people look at me and think, well, what? Then I have to look for another way to find this question.
Yes.
I'm trying to find what are people, what's the outcome people look for. And then often people, of course, begin to tell me their problem.
Yes.
So that's why I was interested in because I would think about what Elliot says, that solution focus is like a language, and there's another language you have to learn, and I'm still trying to learn it.
Mm.
And then, thanks Mark for sharing that. Yeah, and I think for the longest time we have heard that, right, that language, the importance of language in the solution focus world or approach. And when we start to translate it, or when we start to use it in the native form, it leads you to wonder whether that premise still holds true or not. Because I don't know about the Dutch language, but I suppose then in Chinese, in some of the wordings, if you change the wording, would it make a difference for the clients? And that is my curiosity. I don't have the answer, but that is my curiosity. So I'm not sure right now about that, and I'm kind of having a bit of that open mind about discussions that people are having. But I remember this. I remember this story. It was I remember one of the comments that I got very early on when I was learning this, and a colleague mentioned to me, is to say that, do you know that that solution focused approach is very cognitive, like the question you ask, you get people to think, and they really need to think, and the criticism, or maybe the limitation of it, is that the client needs to have some maybe level of connection before you could use it very, very, very well with them, because they need to think hard about your question. And whenever people say that, I got reminded of a client, and I was seeing this mother and daughter, and they were having conflict. And they've been coming to see me. And I was learning solution focus at a point of time. And I remember asking them the miracle question in I think, I don't think I asked it in English, because the mother couldn't speak English, and so she was speaking in Mandarin. So I have to ask the miracle question in Mandarin. And so, because like I say, right, I was learning, I was new, I have no fear at all. I just ask, because I say ask,
Right.
So I just ask.
It's the best way.
So I asked, and to this mother who is not highly educated. She has probably maybe primary school, if not lower secondary school education. Her child is in secondary as well. So okay. So I remember asking this mother the miracle question in Mandarin. And she was like looking at me, staring at me, like, what did you just ask? Yes. So I'm like, okay. Because she kept quiet, and she gave me that look where she was puzzled by what I was asking. And so I thought, okay, she didn't get it the first time. It's all right. Gonna slow down. Okay, and ask her again. So I kind of repeated it again. slower this time. Yeah, and asked her what was suppose she goes home and then she went to bed and then the miracle happened, and the miracle is that all her problems are gone. Tomorrow morning when she wake up, how would she know? What would be the first thing that she noticed? All imagine. And asking that the second time, she gave me that really hazard, like, she could not get it. All right, she could not get it. And I remember then her daughter, who was sitting next to her, was just looking at us, asking the question, and the mom not being able to answer, and then looking at me, timing and doing it again, and then mother not understanding that, and then she turned to her mother and say, Mr. Edwin was just asking you, and that if Santa Claus was to give you a present, what would you want that present to be? So she speak to her in Mandarin as well. So she translated my question into something that the mother could understand. And so her mother said, "Oh, a present from Santa Claus. Okay, I get that. That I know." And so her present, all right, from Santa Claus was that she wants to have a better relationship with her daughter.
Right.
And so, of course, learning solution for you ask follow-up question, right? Like, how would that look like? Yeah, how would you know? What would give you a clue? What would be the signs to that? And it's really then all the, we'll be talking, we'll be laughing, this kind of, very normal thing. And I think it's still true today. I think that our client is our best teacher, I think, in terms of this, whether we are using in the English language or I think when we translate it to different language, I think we do our best as I think the practitioner, the therapist, to ask those questions. And I think they're still our best teacher in the sense where how they respond back to us. Whether they got it or there's something missing, and then how then do we ask in such a way that kind of connect with them? I think it's important that I think that the questions needs to connect with the client. That's how I probably
that's a beautiful example of speaking the client's language, no matter what that looks like. Beautiful example.
Right. Yeah. It's nice. It reminds me once of a story I had with the mother and the daughter. They were originally from Somalia, but I spoke Dutch. We were in a meeting, and then I asked this medical question of it to the mother, and the mother looked at me and then started to talk about what would be happening in the future in all kind of problem language, And the daughter said to her mother, No, you asked to say this. This child was like 14 or something.
Yeah.
I thought, really great, really.
Yeah.
And then the mother, okay, So, and because the issue was the relationship between mother and daughter.
Yes.
So at that time, you saw it happening.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what reminded me a little bit.
Yes.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Edwin.
Yes.
So when you wake up in the morning on, what day is it today? Today is Monday. Where do you go to work? What do you do? What projects are you doing? What's happening in your life?
Okay. Right. Okay.
I'm just being nosy.
Okay. Because now I'm working full time. I'm working full time in a community-based agency. So I'm doing a bit more of the managerial kind of work right now. So once in a while, I might still do client work. So one-on-one to support social workers and other helping professionals in my sector. in session. Other than that, I then typically just supervise my colleague as well as interns or students from the uni. Yep. So yeah, so right now, because of the COVID situation, I tend to stay, or yeah, I tend to kind of work from home most of the time. If I'm needed to go back to the office, then I will go in. Yep. Yeah. So we are community-based agency that kind of serve anybody, families within the community. So anybody could come to seek help, and the social worker will attend to them, and we do quite a bit of case management, group work, as well as community work as well. Yeah. Any projects that I have? Yeah, currently, because of the restriction, right? So really, a lot of the time is really giving support to my colleagues who are transforming some of the services, because of the reduction of face-to-face interaction. So bring some of these programs online as well. So supporting them and seeing how we could change some of these things. Yeah, practices that we have.
So are all your colleagues solution talking?
No, not really. So they are free to practice whatever modality that they choose to do so. So, but do they know about solution focused approach? Yes, I think some of them, not all of them, know about it. Yeah.
I like it.
So as a manager, is it your goal to move the organization more towards solution focus? Or are you going to keep it like that?
Yeah, Edwin.
If you ask me this question, right, and I don't know, I don't know how this will, because this is live, right? But if you ask, I'm going to be like the least solution focused person that you ever meet. If you ask me this maybe about 10 years ago, I would say yes. Yeah, I would say yes. And but the question right now you ask me, I'm not so sure for myself, because I am so happy seeing people like you, Elliot, and other people, Emma, and various other people around the world who is so passionate and is pushing and training and doing a lot and the spreading of that. And I'm so happy to see all these things happening. So I kind of maybe taking a back seat. Yeah, and I'm taking the position where if anyone who I really within in my center or within my organization who is excited and interested to learn more about this, I am more than happy to share this and to train and to supervise. So I actually have a colleague recently who is not from my center, from a different center, and he's passionate about solution focused approach, and he asked me if I could supervise him on this and help him, and I say, oh, of course, I'm more than willing to do that. So yeah, I'm taking a bit more of a passive stance right now. I would help, and I would supervise, and I would train and support these people who are passionate about it. But do I am I then pushing it? Like trying to get No.
Yeah, I think everyone's got to feel quite comfortable with what they're delivering.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Although if someone say, oh, could you do this, could you
Yeah.
share with us what is this about, I am more than happy to do it, and share with them, and I've done that a couple of times this year within my organization. But a kind of, but and kind of planting. I was just say planting, maybe just sharing that this is what solution focus is about. These are maybe some of the things that it can do as well, and allow people to explore, whether this is something that they want, for themselves. Yeah.
And Edwin, you and and I know Mark was there as well. We kind of bumped into each other at SF24.
Yes.
What was your experience of that? I'm quite curious to know.
Wonderful. It was really, really a wonderful experience for me. And I was honored and very, very happy to be part of that. I think it was I think it was an opportunity that was brought upon us. I don't think it was planned ahead for that to happen. And I think for the first time, really, I think people don't have to travel out of their country to participate in the event. And because it was 24 hours, people could go into any of the time zone. And I know that you stayed throughout 24 hours. So
22 hours. I managed 22.
You were
22 hours. I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I thought, oh my God, Emma's on right now. It's 5 a.m. in the UK. Emma's on. And I quickly logged on. And Emma looked at me and went, no one else had logged on. And she went, are you okay? You look really
Yeah.
It was great listening to you. Very inspirational, which is what made me reach out. I thought, wow, I want to chat with this guy.
Yeah, and I thought it was, and I truly believe that it was really an event that kind of bring the whole community together. For me, I think that has always been, I think, my biggest wish or hope and dreams, that the SF community could come together. We have all the different conferences all over the world and all these things. And it's nice sometimes if you could travel and do that. But to really, really have so many people from so many places or countries coming together, in a common platform, listening and sharing and just being there. I think, even though it's online, it was a fantastic, brilliant experience for me.
How many hours did you manage, Mark?
Oh, I don't know. I think I stayed in my own time zone. Maybe a little bit more here, but I'm no Iceland.
I went all over the world that day.
Yes.
I need to be in Asia.
You had a lot of flying hours.
Yeah, honestly, it was an amazing experience. But it's as Edwin said, it really gave me, and I know many others, an opportunity to kind of meet people all around the world and be inspired by what they're saying and what they do, and which is, is brilliant. And I look forward to next year.
Right.
I think it was a platform for, I think, people to showcase and to show what they are doing, and how, I think, solution focus has spread, throughout the world. And I think that perhaps we are probably, I think not sure about this, but perhaps really the first one that has done this, coming together all over the world doing this. And yeah, so I'm hoping that next year that there could be more people showing showing us what else is happening. I think this time around, I think this time I think because it was the first time and we were trying it, and the technology can be a nightmare, and the different time zone and how you kind of coordinate and work together and things like that. So a lot of the back end stuff that is happening, and so we might not have we might not have some people who are doing great work as well presenting, but I'm hoping that as we learn from the first one, that more could come on board next year, and we could really listen to their story as well. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think you did an amazing job. And every time I came into the room, Mark, I kept going into the room going, Edwin, which room shall I go into? I need an I don't understand what they're saying. It's all in Mandarin. Which one? And he'd be like, give me a minute. Go into this one. Edwin, they're not letting me in. Quick. And you know what? Despite those tiny little hiccups, it was fabulous. Well done. It was really good. And you were working, and so were so many people working so hard behind the scenes. I just really want to thank you on here to say, you know what? You 22 hours was not enough for me. I could have tried to do the 48. Maybe that's a fundraiser that I can do. I thought that was brilliant. I do wacky things to raise money for the charity here, so maybe that's my next one. 48 hours just sitting there live. That would be interesting.
I will support you. Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Oh my God, show me that bottle. Is that an actual big, long Coca-Cola bottle, or is that the one that you refill?
Yes.
That's a refill. Mark.
Right.
Are you positively curious about anything else?
Oh, yes. But the thing is, the answers to that Edwin gives sometimes, when I ask something I wanted to ask about, and then he gives an answer that I didn't expect. So it gets a little bit different. But what I really think it's because I talked about in your organization that you have some people who are so solution focused and others are not. During my time within social work in different organizations, especially when I was convinced that solution focus is my way and no other way is going to make me happy anymore. But most organizations what I have been into are really problem focused, and a lot of the time I was maybe the only one being solution focused, which made it quite hard sometimes, because even if you are convinced solution focus is the way, and then you are with your colleagues in a meeting or whatever, before you know it, you are also problem focused again. And you know it, so you can change it. But because, I've had several meetings where, when there was this meeting, when there was talk about the client, talk about the history of the client and the problem and ask the question. And I often was thinking, okay, so now you're mentioning all the problems that there are, and you're asking your colleagues for how do I fix this? And then after listening a while, then I was always asking, so can you say something about what you're happy about, or what still is going well, or does the boy have a hobby, or things like that, and then they would always say, oh, good question. But then we have this meeting like 2 weeks later, and the same thing would happen here. So in the end, so I was always thinking, how can you be in an organization from different approaches and still help each other in a way that works for you? How's that in your organization?
And the closest I can relate to that, and because I don't have the need to change another person's perspective right now, because I don't feel the need to. And so the closest I think example that I could think of, a couple of years back, I was in this case conference with the client and with the social workers, as well as maybe child protection officer. So they were having a case conference about safety plan, about getting the clients to follow the safety plan that they come up with for the client, and they have not been. The client has or the parents have not been following the plan, and so there was concern about safety issue.
Right.
All right. So I was sitting in there, listening to the conversation, and so of course very problem focused, right? So they were talking about this. These are the things that you're supposed to do. Why did you not do it? You are not supposed to not do this. You are supposed to do this, and so that kind of tone and the kind of and of course then you get the client who's also fighting back, who's trying to defend himself, who's thinking that you're not being fair, and things like that, and so that happens, and finally I had the opportunity. And I just kind of say, could I say something? And I was curious about the strengths of the client, how they managed to cope and persevere to now. How as parents that they continue to be concerned about, even though they might not have followed the safety plan, but they are still concerned and worried and still love the children. So I was highlighting, how they, so really, exceptions and strengths, and just asking and giving them compliments to them about that. So I was speaking obviously a different language,
right,
from the other people. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to say now, so all of you want this. This is still what you want, and so maybe the safety plan is designed to help you in that. But I want to highlight the strengths that I have, and I don't know about the rest, because like I say, I don't have that wish to kind of change what they are doing. But I think that changed how the client become more receptive now to the suggestion from the others, even though they are coming from a very problem-focused position, and they are telling them and teaching them what to do. So it was an interesting experience for me, because I was not, and they didn't say, "Wow, you did solution for that was fantastic." None of those things. But I noticed that in that session, that the client changed, and they were really more open and receptive to the suggestion by the other people. So for me, is doing that shift, making that shift, just at that moment, for them. So despite all the whatever negative, there are still some people who notice the positive things, and I think that was enough or good enough for the client. And later on, So and later on, and it was quite interesting, because it was also a session where they were prepared to say, I don't want to work with your agency, which is my agency. I want to change to a different agency. And then by the end of that meeting, they decided, okay, I'm going to stay with your agency. I'm going to continue to work with you to achieve these things as well. Sorry, Mark, I'm not sure if I answer your question or not, because I think it's not easy. I think to change the mindset of others, particularly if we are saying that this is a very good model, this is fantastic model, this is like the best model ever, even if we believe in that, in our heart, saying it and another person hearing that, the natural reaction is that they're going to be defensive. They're going to say, what do you mean by that? And I remember really early on, it was very interesting, because early on with Insoo, these issues, so this issue that we are facing right now happens even 20 years ago. Yes, because we were learning, right? Like we were literally the first batch who was learning this in Singapore. And then like there are 30 of us from different diverse agency and center, right? And we are probably the few first people who will learn this, and we're going to go back to our agency and start practicing this. And because it was a 1 year program, so we had opportunity where we come back together. And so I think in those sessions where we have the opportunity to talk to Insoo, so we asked her this. We say, I'm the only one in my agency, and I'm doing this, and I love this, and this is so great. But how do I share this with my other colleagues? How do I tell them that this is the best? And her advice to us is, don't do it. Really, we were taught to really downplay the learning that we have, the things that we are doing, so that we kind of elicit empathy from other people to kind of accept us. And it's really because it was really tough, because can you imagine you're the only one who went for that training, and then you're back in the organization, and then you have your other colleagues who has been practicing different approaches all their life, and then you come back and you say that I just been to this wonderful workshop, fantastic, and imagine how the other people will react to that. It's not going to be good. They're not going to be, wow, yeah, great for you, I'm happy for you, yes, I should join you. No, that's not going to happen. We were taught maybe a bit of that reverse psychology stuff, to allow people to maybe accept us and what we are really doing, and then by us then showing the skills and the knowledge that we have learned from the workshop, slowly integrating it into our work, and having people then be curious about, hey, you're doing this, I'm curious about it, and maybe learn from that. So it was interesting. It was interesting. Even back then we have this, because really we are the first one, and we have actually asked Insoo about this as well. And I remember her saying this to us. So I don't know how that is useful and helpful for you, but there's maybe two stories that comes into my head.
It's always very useful, of course. I don't really, for myself, I don't want to change other people. But I do recognize when you are a fan of a certain something, it will show.
Yes.
It always show.
Yes.
And what I've always been looking for, and like I said, especially when you are the only one in the organization that is fan of that, you know. Sometimes you need others.
Yes.
You are in a certain situation and you want to talk to them, and it becomes difficult if the one that is able or wanting to support you is going to support you from the other approach.
Yeah.
Right? Asking you the questions from a more problem-focused standpoint, while you are putting things in place from a solution-focused standpoint. That's what I was wondering about.
It's so true, isn't it?
And not want to change others. You know, but you always influence others, of course. But
Yeah.
and vice versa, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm just thinking about. Yeah, I'm just thinking about. Have I been in that position as well, where I've been asked.
You had your mate Edwin. You could have just sent a recording to Insoo.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, I'm not sure if even if they ask me that problem focused question, I would know how to answer as well. Because once, like, I don't know about you, but I think once you kind of learn about this, most of the time, if not all of the time, when you see something, you are really thinking from that frame of reference already. Like, so when we look at client situation, when we look at a problem or the weather, we always come from that, and we are always looking at that. So I'm not sure if I don't know if a colleague was to ask me something that is problem focused, I don't know if I would be able to answer that as well. Because it's different. Because it would not be how I was thinking or how I am thinking about that situation.
But that sometimes is hard, because I remember in my last organization, was a mental health organization. I was helping this father with his child, and there were some concerns from my colleagues about this father, about his capacities or whatever. So they asked, "What do you think about his capacities?" And I said, "I don't think anything about his capacities." I cannot see into his head, because they wanted to test him if he is maybe from a lower cognitive level. I'm just looking what he's doing for his daughter. Things like that. So,
your focus is different, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
The focus is different, yeah.
But that's difficult being drawn into that conversation, which I actually didn't want to be drawn in, but
Yeah. And it is difficult, and I agree with both you, Mark, and Edwin, and I find myself in some meetings, there's questions asked, but I try to answer them in the most solution-focused way as possible. But you can sometimes get caught out, especially when you're at a child protection meeting and they're using the signs of safety, and they start tutting, the families out of 4, but what makes them a 4, not a 3? And they kind of look at you, the chair looks at you like, are we really going to waste time doing that? Yes, we are. It's not a waste of time. We're going to do that. Because like Edwin said, actually highlighting the strengths is far more important, because there's so many little nuggets in that. You did it before. Can you do it again? That transferable skill. There's so many little nuggets in there that you could use. But yeah, it can be difficult working in an organization sometimes where you don't have the like-minded people to kind of share that with you. But yeah, Edwin.
Yes.
Come on, tell us a secret, what you're really up to. No one's watching other than Mark and I. Go.
What
What are
I
your
what
hopes? What are your hopes and dreams in the solution-focused world?
Or for Singapore.
um ooh. I am really hoping that all of you who are working so hard, promoting and sharing and spreading the idea, that that you continue to have the strength and that drive and that motivation, yes, to do it. Really, I am so impressed by things that I'm seeing, and things that I myself might not do, but I'm really impressed by like you doing this, and really, like even wanting to talk to me. I'm like, really, when your invitation came, I'm like, okay, what's there to talk about? I'm quite normal. There's nothing that but you find that you find in that curiosity in wanting to get to know and all these things. And really hearing what Mark talks about just now about learning about this and the passion and all these things. I hope that that you and everyone like you, who are really passionate about this, continue to share that and to spread that in our own ways. I think in all our little own ways, I think we are influencing others. And we don't have I don't think we have all the answer all the time. And sometimes we really need to work within that organizational structure. Really, yeah, because remember, like I say, right, we brought that up to Insoo, and sometimes we challenge her and say that, come on, Insoo, what you say is, yeah, but when it comes to assessment, all right, some of the our partners or the ministry or the government would need this report, and this report in phrase in this manner. I don't have the power to change those things.
No.
I can put in the strengths and all these things, but they are not asking for that. All right, they have these other assessments that might be problem focused, but I have my other roles that to play as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the other very wonderful thing that she taught us back then in how we survive in our organization is then knowing when to wear the hat that you wear.
Yeah.
So sometimes in the organization, if you have a particular role, sometimes you need to wear that hat. You wear the hat. And sometimes, if you could wear the solution-focused hat, then you wear that, because that's how, at the end of the day, that practice, like that interaction with the client. So I think it's a choice. I think then what I take away is really the choice that she has given me. When to and how to. So yes, so I hope that yes, that all of us continue to do that.
Yeah, I think we're blessed to be part of the solution-focused community. And in one way, although the lockdown and COVID is not great, and a lot of people have suffered and lost loved ones, it has brought us all closer together. And we're meeting people that I didn't even know existed. Because to me, solution-focused, obviously we weren't out there. We were just working. But it was just a few people. And then, consequently, I've met Mark, I've met yourself, and I think it's been amazing times for us anyway. But I'm actually going to use this time, the next couple of minutes, to be very selfish, if that's okay, guys.
Okay.
Yes? Okay. So, Edwin, Mark. So as you know, or you will find out, so Joe and I co-founded Family-Based Solutions.
Right.
And the charity basically works with children who are abusive towards their parents, domestic abuse perpetrators, all forms of domestic abuse. On May the 29th and 30th, are you ready? we have a weekend fundraiser. So you can choose to do whatever you like to raise funds for the charity. So have a little think about what you guys can do. It can be anything. So Bieber and I will be skydiving.
Skydive.
Yeah. You can skydive wherever you are, Singapore, wherever you are, if you want to do that. I did want to sit in a bath where people throw worms or things at me, but apparently I'm not allowed to do that. The Animal Rights Service said I'm not allowed to do that.
Okay.
So that's gone out the window. But yeah, have a little
skydiving is allowed.
Yeah, yeah, you can throw yourself at the plane, but you can't have a worm on your head. I love you. So have a little think. I'm not going to let go of this because I'm trying to get so many people internationally to be supporting.
When is that again?
29th and the 30th. So you choose either date of May, either date, and you can do whatever you like to raise funds for the charity.
Okay.
So how much do you want? Are you thinking of raising?
Yes.
However many pennies you can get.
And is there a minimum that you would like to have?
I haven't thought about that.
Some total?
I have not thought about that. Thank you for asking that question, Mark. Now I need to get back to you with that. This is why I love Mark. He always makes me think. So I love him, but I hate him at the same time. He makes me think about things.
Yeah.
He's very, very good at that. He's so good at that. He does it just so naturally. I'll get back to you on that.
You don't ask the right questions.
Yeah, okay. But what we've actually found, which is quite sad, it's lovely but sad, is that as a charity, we're more supported internationally by you guys than you are in your own home. And that's quite sad, I think. Because if I need advice on size of safety or whatever, I know where to go. If I need to call you, Edwin, I'll call you. But actually, locally, it's quite sad that people don't support their own charities. So we're reaching out. Let's show them.
Yep.
So
right, I'll get back to you.
Don't you get any grant from your local authorities or NHS or whatever?
It's too much red tape, Mark. Like Edwin was saying, the protocols and and some protocols obviously we need to have, but I don't like those the tick boxes. Families aren't tick boxes, and they what model do you use? Well, it depends on the family that's in front of me. Each family is different, and that's the beauty of being part of the council, or because you're your own charity, you can make up your mind as to what the best action is for the family using their best hopes. So that's the beauty that we have, which is why I'm a bit funny like that. Bit funny. But anyway, Mark, you are a fantastic co-host.
Yes.
You're like an international husband. I like it. And you are. And Joe was so jealous. I won't repeat on air what Joe called me when he found out that I replaced him with Mark. Who he admires Mark, by the way. He really, really does, but he was a bit jealous. And Edwin, you are such an inspiration, and I'm so glad I stayed up for 22 hours, just saying. And you were absolutely fantastic. And please do host it again next year. It was absolutely brilliant. And I love the work that you're doing, and I love your social media presence, and let's have more of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And on Wednesday, we've got Elisa Cortage from Canada.
Yeah.
Where we'll be looking at what she's been up to, because I know she's been a busy bee as well. And I think we're talking about signs of safety. So I'll put that up tonight. So thank you very much. Can I ask you, Edwin and Mark, to just stay here while I end the live chat, just so I can say thank you to you personally. See you later, everyone.